Dude, you're one of the hardest working anglers I've ever met. You never say die. Way to go.
Good job, Richard. Thank you.
Get him, Richard. Richard! Beautiful! Nice. Nice fish, Richard!
Here we go on the Hustler fishing trip. There we go. We caught all these. But you know he put in the work.
Come on, boys. Get a fresh bait on.
On Karma, what's going on? 9 fish going right now. What is the key to your success, sir?
You gotta change your bait every 30 seconds.
Where have we heard that before?
I don't know. Morning briefing, maybe?
Change your bait, get a good hot bait. 9 fish going. He is putting the wood to him every single time he underhands a bait out there. Boom, he's on again. Good going, John.
They're nibbling.
You're not bit or you're doing something wrong. Change your bait. Change your bait. 30 seconds into it, if you're not bit, change it.
You know what time it is? It's time for the morning briefing! Everybody, before we get rolling here today, you can help the Friedman Adventures cause by purchasing a hat or some other Friedman Adventures merchandise right now. All you have to do is go to embroiderycreations.net and order some merchandise. It helps us keep the content headed your way. Deeply appreciate all your love and support. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. Hey, good Friday morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It is a gorgeous morning. It's a little bit chilly down here. I know the inland air temps are going to be soaring here in Southern California today, but right now on the beach, there's a breeze blowing in, and as I say, it's kind of chilly and overcast, looks kind of foggy. Almost looks like there's some precipitation behind me, but boy, I'll tell you, the fishing is anything but chilly right now. Tremendous long-range fishing. We're going to be talking yellowfin, tuna, and wahoo. Great fishing down there on the ridge for some private boaters, including our very own Paulina, my co-host, when I'm in Mexico, and her mother, Berenice. They're putting the wood to some fish down there in that area. It's a nada. How about some big yellows being taken off the rocks by some outstanding fishermen? You're going to love this, man. The guy got there a little bit late with the gaff, but you'll see what happens. It's awesome stuff. Our bluefin tuna by the new Loan is backing into Point Loma sport fishing right now. Trevante Johnson was on that trip. We have a report from him, the Pacific Queen, with a huge trip. We'll watch that very, very closely. The deepwater rock cod season is open here in SoCal. We'll go up to San Francisco. We have so much more, including a great day at the Longfin, a sale going on tomorrow that you're going to want to take advantage of. We have info on how you can get a free key ring, a free book on Baja, and so much more. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Is that good or what? And is it great to be with you all? Thank you so much for all the likes you give us. Sharing these videos means so much to us. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, as well as X. Hey, it is great to be with you all and so much to cover with you. Thank you so much. We are selling shirts and hats, and they are flying out of the warehouse, so we can't thank you enough. Chad, Gall, Dan, Smith, just to name a couple of the guys that I saw make purchases here recently. Thank you so very much for all you do. Don't forget, tomorrow the Longfin has their sale outdoors, and you're going to want to take advantage of that. Make sure you go and drop by American Premier, mention Friedman Adventures. You'll get a free fish key ring, and if you purchase one of their new trolling lures, you will get a book on Baja California. You can stay tuned at the end of this report. We'll show you those trolling lures and tell you more about it. Stay tuned at the end of the morning briefing to see that, and you'll get tuned up on that. We've added an Apollo trip for this year, November 13th through the 15th, departing from 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. So make sure you check that out also. Wow. What a great morning and what great fishing we've got for you all. Let's go south of the border and check out what's going on down there on the long range scene, because it is phenomenal. Big yellowfin tuna, 40 to 70 pound grade fish. It's been biting for several months now, but you just can't underestimate how good it is right now. Great YFT fishing going on for the Royal Polaris, the Independence, and every other guy that's down there on these 7 to 10 day trips right now. They have been phenomenal all summer long, and now we're poking our nose into the fall, and it is continuing. The wahoo fishing has been spectacular. It has been absolutely wonderful. The Royal Polaris had over 100 who the other day, and yesterday on board the Independence. What a day. From the time they stopped until the time they stopped fishing, it was full speed who fishing. The skins were putting on a show. The wahoo bite simply can't get any better, and they're at it again this morning already, catching more wahoo. It has been fabulous. The Royal Polaris yesterday focused a lot of their attention on some superior grade yellowtail with outstanding forky fishing going on nice big quality yellows. It can't get much better than it is right now. And a lot of that fish, the yellowfin on the Royal Polaris, were taken on stick baits and skip jigs. Man, you get to see those fish, those yellowfin, blow out on those jigs. The wahoo bite, tremendous. Yellowtail fishing, I don't know how you could ask for anything more on the long range scene. We're on board the Independence in April of 25 for a 5-day trip that you're going to want to take advantage of. Jump on board with us. Give Paulina a call at the Independence office this morning. So great long range fishing. It can't get much better. Now, guys, some guys are down there, they've towed their boats down to Magdalena Bay, and they can fish that ridge area where it has been spectacular. Berenice, Soto, and Paulina have been down there catching dorado, catching yellowfin tuna, and just having an overall great time. I'm so happy you guys are having so much fun. Can't wait to see you in Ensenada one of these days very, very soon. Also, down there in that neck of the woods, our friend Jens Meyerhoff has been fishing. He says it is insane. The yellowfin tuna bite has been absolutely fantastic as they've been all over. Haven't caught much who out of Mag Bay here a little bit, but mostly the yellowfin dorado and that kind of stuff. That wahoo bite has been going on at Alijos Rocks, and it is off the hook so far this year. I hope it keeps going for our November trip on board the Independence. That has been sold out for about a year. So really great stuff going on south of the border. Speaking of south of the border, there's a little bit of bluefin tuna and yellowfin tuna, little bit for the Ensenada Pongero fleet, the guys that go out, leave in the morning, and come back that very same day. You can drive down to Ensenada. It's only a 70-mile drive, and partake of some great Baja hospitality. The fishing offshore, though, is very spotty right now. You come inshore, you have a possibility of catching a yellowtail or two, and also some calico and or sand bass, but predominantly right now it's rockfish. Rockfish are filling the sacks, or the pongas in this case, providing you with excellent eating fish to take home, or just throw a feast down there while you're in beautiful Ensenada. You can take your catch to a lot of different restaurants down there, and they'll cook it up for you. So that is great stuff. Fishing off the rocks, Campo Siete, the Punta Banda area, which is right there near Ensenada. Man, I'll tell you, it's such a rugged, gorgeous, pristine part of the Baja Peninsula. You see that angler tied up in a furious battle, catching that yellowtail. Beautiful. And in Spanish, you could hear them saying, gancho, gancho, gaff, gaff. And the guy was having a little bit of trouble getting down on the rocks and gaffing that fish. In fact, that fish was halfway up on the rocks before he put the stick in it. Beautiful yellowtail. And those guys who fish that Campo Siete and that rugged Baja coastal region of Punta Banda are fantastic. In fact, one time I was fishing around there with my two sons, Philip and Patrick and our dear friend Diego Nuno, who is a deckhand on the Royal Star, but also operates a panga out of Ensenada on his time off. And we were catching calico bass and having so much fun. And I looked at a couple of anglers over there on the rocks and I said, Diego, I looked, and I go, how did they get there? Like, is there a helicopter or something around? And Diego just pointed up to the rocks and he goes, check that out. And it was ropes that they actually pretty much rappelled down this really dangerous territory to get down to the rocks to go fishing. Wow, my hats are off to those guys. That is absolutely fabulous. And that was a great catch down there. So cool to see that. Cedros Island, man, the big yellows are biting. There's a mix of the grady yellows for Cedros sport fishing right now, but it has been absolutely fantastic. Javier Mata Velez, he ran this panga. Man, look at that bird life. There's forkies, yellows, all over. Those guys are bit up big time. It's been tremendous fishing down there at Cedros. I don't know how I can get any better than that. So south of the border, whether it's long range or you're a private boater fishing out of Mag Bay, or you're fishing down there on the rocks out of Ensenada, the Punta Banda area, it has really been fantastic. Hey, unfiled taxes, don't let the IRS come after you without our buddy Tim Marquez. Give Tim a call today. And for your heating and or air conditioning needs, you're going to want to call John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. Really great stuff south of the border right now. All right, let's take a look at Tanner, Cortez, San Clemente Island area for you all. There's been some conking going on the bluefin tuna. It's a little bit more hit and miss right now, but overall, it's fantastic fishing. It can't get much better. Some bigger fish, some nighttime fish, some daytime fish. It has been spectacular in many, many cases. On board the Pacific Queen, West Coast Jiggers. They put out such a great product for catching these fish on the iron at night, especially 26 guys, 151 on the bluefin tuna. It doesn't get much better than that. Dennis Luing was on that trip. He said fly line and jigs during the daytime, mostly fly line. Sometimes you get to drop down to 25 pounds. Sometimes you'll get a bite on the 40 and even the 60 pound. You got to gauge the ferocity of the bite and choose a good hot bait as always, as we had on the lead in. Fantastic nighttime fishing also going on for Dennis and West Coast Jiggers on the Pacific Queen. And if you're on the carnivore diet like me, as you can see, there's some awfully good carnivore diet food there. Steaks, eggs, sausage. Man, it's got my name written all over it. By the way, Dennis Luang, who provided us with this video, I went to him for help in Baja to feed several families, hundreds of families, and he jumped right in and provided meals for all those folks. So Dennis, happy you had a great trip. Thanks for your help in the past. Deeply appreciate that. West Coast Jiggers, big trip on the Pacific Queen. The new Loan is backing into Point Loma sport fishing as we speak. And TJ Travante Johnson is on that trip. He ended up with 2 nice bluefin tuna. He said he lost a heartbreak. Big fish right at color. Just missed getting another beautiful fish on board. Travante is going to take some photos and shoot them into us. Maybe in post-production I'll be able to put those up. He said it was pretty good nighttime fishing, not wide open. He thinks they're in the 30 range for 15 anglers, I think, on a 2-day trip. So there's that score for you. Some other scores, the Fortune, 100 bluefin tuna on a 3-day trip. The Pacific Dawn, limits of bluefin tuna for those boys. Some guys a little bit more hit and miss, but overall some really great fishing. Don't forget deep water cod fishing right now in Southern California. You're fishing over 300 feet of water every Friday on board the Island Spirit up there out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Next Friday would be a good time for you to jump on board and catch some of those giant cod. And we have our trip now booked with the Island Spirit, April 4th, 2025. Already starting to sell out, folks. Better hurry. If you want to get on that one, 657-227-6459. Halfway gone in less than 24 hours. You can get on the Island Spirit for their Friday trip or any other trip that you'd like, including a charter, an open party trip by going to Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing or give Saul a call at 805-676-3474. Time to talk islands, Coronado Islands. Rockfish predominantly down there, picking off an occasional yellowfin tuna outside of the islands, in the islands, an occasional yellowtail, and even a bluefin tuna. But that is really very difficult right now as the water is getting chilly, very, very chilly right now. And those yellows and BFT are not liking that too much. So a lot of rockfish down there. Same thing at San Clemente Island. However, the Fury did have 61 calico bass out of Dana. War sport fishing and a yellowtail out there at Clemente. There's a few yellows there and some okay calico bass fishing at times, but a lot of rockfish going on there also at Catalina. Similar kind of a situation yesterday on the El Patron out of Long Beach sport fishing. 14 anglers, 62 rockfish for them. It's been mostly rockfish there. There's the occasional little bit of bonita, a little bit of barracuda, and seeing a yellowtail and catching a calico bass, but it's pretty slow on the surface action right now. A lot of the focus now turning toward rockfish, providing you with excellent table fare. Now it's deep water. We had a trip on the El Patron. Man, we fished the west end of Catalina Island for giant big bocaccio and so much more. So I'm sure they're going to focus in on some of that great fish. If you'd like to get on the El Patron, and who wouldn't, go to www.longbeachsportfishing.org and get on the El Patron. So there you have it. That's what's going on at Catalina. Out there in the Channel Islands, looking at predominantly bottom biters like whitefish and sheephead and species like that, and some of that big deep water cod is also in the mix. The Aloha Spirit, however, yesterday out of Cisco's had 8 halibut, along with plenty of bottom biters like the 180 whitefish they had limiting out on that. The Island Spirit will be out tomorrow doing their thing, trying to catch plenty of rockfish there out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Other boats up there focused in on that rockfish bite. They get an influx of squid. If that squid moves in there, they could get a bite here late in the year on sea bass and halibut. So we need to keep focused on it up there at Santa Barbara, Rockfish, Avila Beach. Some of the private boaters up there have been poking their nose into some good halibut fishing, but predominantly rockfish up there. And also, as we ride up to San Francisco, some great big lingcod. They're fishing the deep water up there. Also, there's been big bluefin tuna about 40 miles offshore when the weather permits out of San Francisco. So there's been some pretty darn good stuff going on up there in that neck of the woods. Don't forget, it's lobster hoop netting season, and it's been pretty darn good. As you can see, Tommy Kuncoro doing the lobster dance. When you do your lobster dance, make sure you go to promarahi.com and put in FA, Friedman Adventures. FA at checkout, you get 10% off. Make sure you do that today. Let's look at our local situation. Good morning, Lupe. She's over there. You're going to see her in just a moment right there. But she's walking by. Local situation, I can pretty much summarize it by saying water's cold. That means surface bite is slow. Plenty of rockfish from San Diego up to Ventura and in between with occasional little shots. Good morning, Lupe. Of bass and a few species like that. But if you're looking for a barracuda bite or something like that, it's been few and far between with this cooler La Nina kind of water that we're getting pushed in here right now. Down there on the Dolphin, same thing. You know, out of San Diego, they're picking away at the rockfish. Same thing on the New Seaforth. They're fishing that deep water cod, so getting some of that big stuff, Oceanside, Dana, you know, Newport Beach, here in Long Beach, San Pedro. All the landings up and down are fishing that. There is some exceptional twilight bass fishing out of Marina del Rey at times on sand and or calico bass. So you do have that in the mix. Also, we're going to continue to monitor and watch that for you very, very closely. In the Southern California surf, don't forget about Big Fish Bait and Tackle, your Southern California saltwater surf fishing headquarters. They've got it all for you. But not only surf fishing stuff, they've got tackle for trout, right on up to big bluefin tuna and marlin and so much more. But they've got all the bait you'll need to be successful here in the SoCal surf. There's been a little bit of yellowfin croaker down there around the Huntington Beach area, as well as an occasional corvina and some barred perch. Here we see about the same kind of thing, a little bit more barred perch starting to show up. They like that cool water. They like that cold water. You'll see those barred perch start to bite even better. Santa Monica Bay, we're seeing a little bit of fish up there. Corvina starting to cool down though. Those Corvina are not going to bite in that really cool water. And then up there in El Segundo, that water's starting to cool, but there's still some pretty good yellowfin croaker fishing going on there, and occasional spot fin croaker here also. As I mentioned, fish have been jumping out of the water behind me during the morning briefing. We've had a lot of folks mentioning that, so that is some pretty cool stuff. Thanks for all you do for Friedman Adventures. We love you purchasing a hat or a shirt. That means the world to us. Stay tuned because we've got a little interview coming up with Jack Maguire, the inventor of these new trolling lures. Don't hold me to this, but I believe those trolling lures are going to go for 25 bucks. But if you go to the Longfin tomorrow and you say Friedman Adventures, when you see Jack or Michael there at the American Premier booth, you can get one of those trolling lures for 19 bucks and give it a try. I have not tried them yet. Jack says they work really, really well. You can go check them out, get your free Baja book, and also one of those keychains that have bass on one, I think a catfish on another one, and a tuna on another one. Your choice. You get to pick which one you want. And if I have this right, you get the keychain just for showing up and saying hi. You get the Baja book and the keychain when you purchase at least one of those lures. Check it out tomorrow. Longfin, Saturday morning, starts at 7 a.m. We're going to try to drop by there around 12 noon and say hi. So if any of you are there around midday, keep an eye open because I'd like to say thank you for all you do for Friedman Adventures. All right, an upcoming Apollo trip, we've got that. In April for the Rockfish opener, we're going to be on the Island Spirit, selling out fast. And we're going to have more charters going up shortly. I'll have that for you. Make sure you do not delay if you'd like to join us in 25 because our stuff really does sell out fast and we'd love to fish with more and more of you. All right, great fishing south of the border. That bluefin still on the bite out there in Tanner and Cortez. All of you on the Amigo with us this Sunday night. I've got snacks and some sandwiches and so much more for you. I'll be down at the landing around 6 p.m. You're welcome to hang out in the studio with us, enjoy a sandwich, and then off we'll go on the Amigo for a 2-day adventure. Take care. Stay tuned. There's more coming up next about the Longfin and their great open air sale going on tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Maguire, what a pleasure, my friend.
My pleasure meeting you, man.
How are you?
Doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. We have got a big event coming up on Saturday at the Longfin. They're going to open up a big parking lot sale at 7 a.m. I think it goes till 3 p.m. You're going to be there with Michael Wu from American Premier, and you're going to be introducing the new, hottest trolling lure, which we're going to delve into together right now, talk about this lure. But people who come by, number one, there's a freebie out there for you. If you go by and say hello to Jack or Michael, you're going to get a free keychain. There's a bass one. There's a catfish one. What else is there? A tuna, I think.
Yeah.
And you get to choose. So great to have you here. What, first of all, is the name of this lure?
Actually, the actual name itself is Ultimate Swimmer.
The Ultimate Swimmer. I love that name.
And the philosophy of wanting to make the word swimmer is it doesn't wiggle, it doesn't wobble, swims like live bait. And what is a lure to replace live bait? So that was the whole idea behind it to begin with. But then the main thing was to make it a true big game lure. To be honest with you, I am a non-believer in treble hooks. I lost my biggest wahoo on a bent treble hook. I don't know what else it was, but I had another big fish bent treble hook. So I stay away from trebles. So right away I can spot mine because half of them on the market still have treble hooks, and you don't catch fish, big fish like marlin on treble hooks. I fished with a friend of mine, and we were catching small tuna, throwing jigs, and a marlin hit his jig. And that marlin came out of the water. Next thing I knew, it there went treble hook right out of his mouth. So that's the way I first can spot a good lure, in my opinion.
So you've developed these lures, right? You're
Yes,
the
I
guy. Yeah, and
Yes.
have you tested them? You have, I know you have, but what species of fish have been biting them? Let's talk about that. You're mostly trolling with these jigs. What kind of fish did you catch with them?
Well, you can cast, but they're made for trolling.
Okay.
But you can always cast these. They're only 4 ounces. If they were too heavy, then you might not want to cast it. But,
The species that you caught with these were?
well, we were going to say Magdalena Bay.
Yep.
We caught an average of 70-pound wahoo, 13 of them.
Wow.
9 were caught on another lure. On our lure. The others were caught on somebody else's because this was the first day and our captains did not believe in our lures that much.
Yeah.
They always reached for their old standbys.
Go-to lure, right.
At the end of the trip, the captains were using them. They
were sold.
We'll put all 3 of them out. We limited on tuna and dorado both days we went out.
Nice.
The only thing we didn't use it on is grouper.
Yellowfin tuna? Any yellowfin down there? Have you caught yellowfin?
That was
on these
yellowfin,
things?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was
Good.
all
So
tuna.
you
We
caught
limited on tuna, limited on dorado. I don't know what the actual limit is on wahoo, but we came close.
Yeah, very good. Excellent.
So-
and that was in Magdalena Bay down in beautiful Baja California.
Yeah, I consider that the best spot to fish in Baja.
Yeah, it is a great spot. You have so much out there on
But
the
you got a
ridge.
long boat ride.
Yeah, you do. You do, but it's worth it. Do you want to go through some of these jigs and talk about the colors that you offer, what trolling speed is appropriate, that kind of thing?
This was our killer color
Yeah.
as far as wahoo. We call it hot pink. But we tested this, well, we used an orange lure in South Africa and caught tuna and wahoo with it. And we did catch a couple on the orange.
Nice.
Now, all of these lures are all hand painted. Today, to save money, they inject the color into the plastic. That's your lure.
Right.
We make 5 colors copying actual lures. As an example, Dorado.
Beautiful. Wow, that is gorgeous. That's a work of art.
And one of the fellas happens to be at Longfin, personally wanted to buy one of these the other day. This is a bleeding herring.
Very nice. Yeah, that looks super. Looking down the barrel, it looks so real. That's a beautiful lure.
Now I got another interesting thing that I saved for last for you.
Yeah, the last. Boy, this is a quick interview.
And have you heard about the new hooks that are out by Mustad called Straight Line?
I have.
Our November shipment will come in all straight line hooks.
Oh, great. So you got quality hooks. No need to change out hooks when you buy this lure.
The advantage of the straight line after testing it, thank goodness I have a swimming pool. That's where I tested all these things. They're all white because they aren't even painted. The color of them was all decided later.
Yes.
And then, God, we probably ended up with 20. No, that's too many. We'd cut down and cut down and cut down.
And the hooks.
But what happens with these hooks, as well as any of the others, when you get a big enough size, sometimes they wrap on the lure. They'll wrap on the tail, They'll flip around and wrap on the tail. Not usually they still will hook up, but it's not as good. The straight line hook is the ring is the same way as the shaft, so it's all straight. So when this is running in the water, it's running straight back, not over the top of any of the lure.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be our new thing. And at the present time, we don't know of anybody else using it.
Fantastic. Do I need a swivel or can I straight tie to that lure?
You need no swivel. You tie on to the split ring, and the split ring, and you don't have to tie a loop because the split ring is loose. It allows the movement to be free.
Gotcha.
So you don't need a swivel because there's no spinning action in it. And the other thing, as I said, that you can tie a knot in it and it's not going to hold it back from reacting the way it should.
Yeah. Jack, when you were testing these, I'm sure you played around with the speed, the trolling speed. Did you find a speed that worked best, or how'd that work?
We found that the medium speed was best.
Meaning how many knots? About 8?
8 to 10.
Okay.
The slower you go, the deeper it goes.
Okay.
You know, your weight is 4 ounces. Now I'm working on a jig, and the jig will be 8 ounces. It'll be an exact copy of this, except strictly jigging. This is in the paperwork right now. I already handed it to Michael.
Nice. Very nice. And did particular colors work for different species, or did you find like
Absolutely.
the yellowfin wahoo? Or...
Absolutely.
So tell me what worked best on the yellowfin tuna.
The best yellowfin would have been black purple,
Yeah.
but we couldn't test it because guess what? That's the one we forgot to take.
Oh, no, really?
But here's our black purple,
Okay.
the hot pink, and the orange.
Yes.
That's wahoo, period.
The orange is the wahoo?
Well,
All those.
the orange caught everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that, as again, we fished with it in South Africa. We couldn't believe it. We were catching the fish we were catching. And you have to go out through the surf and in through the surf. That wasn't much fun.
Man, it's too bad those Garibaldi are the state fish, or we could use those for bait. It sounds like that would work really good.
Well, unfortunately, our captain came in at an angle the last day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We didn't slide up on the sand. We were going in fast, and all of a sudden, the brakes went on. We went, yeah, back of the boat.
I think I heard you say that you caught marlin on these. Did you catch marlin on these?
Well, we had a person in our boat on the last trip,
Yeah.
120-pound striper.
Nice. Very cool.
And, another one, we didn't weigh it. But another guy from Australia, a friend of mine, he caught a good sized, also on a sailfish.
Yes.
And again, that's why there's no treble hooks. Treble hooks are definitely not made for sailfish or marlin's mouths.
And I see that you have this one in honor of the Green for the Irish. You're a Notre Dame fan, I'm guessing. No, just kidding.
Is there any Irish there?
Yeah, go Irish! No, I'm kidding you. These look fantastic. I would love to. I'm heading to Florida here in another week or so.
Well, you got to try this one.
Yeah, and casting from the beach, will that work?
And
You can make a cast and wind on it and get a bite, right?
none of us have done that.
Yeah.
Because first off, where we're going, when you go to Mag Bay,
Yeah.
it's mainly troll.
Yeah. One thing that I know all our audience out there is very curious about is bluefin tuna. A lot of guys troll the Mad Mac lures, had great success over the years. For that, have you tried this on bluefin tuna?
To be honest, there isn't any. Wait a minute. Correction.
Yes.
That's what my friend's catching. Bluefins.
Oh, he's catching bluefin out of Mag Bay?
No. The guy that goes down San Diego, takes a one-day boat out.
Yes.
He's catching bluefin.
On these?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
So
Good.
so it catches yellowfin and bluefin.
Okay, very good. Yeah, because bluefin, of course, I don't have to tell you, that's the thing here in SoCal now. And guys that are private boaters drag jigs around, try to get fish by doing that.
And my house is on the way home. So guess who gets fresh sashimi?
Oh, there you go.
He always stops by with a hunk.
So he pays you back for these great lures, huh?
Yeah, he's a believer. Every guy in our group, I set up groups all year long. I got 2 trips next year, one for La Paz and one for Mag Bay.
Yeah, I wonder how those would work on the beach, because you said they go deeper the slower you go on, Sierras and Roosterfish and Cubera snapper. I bet they'd be pretty effective on like those Cuberas.
It's never been tested for roosters.
Yeah. Who knows? That might work.
There a lot of the Roosterfish don't hit lures.
Right.
It's only a few baits. In fact, what do they call it? The mother. What's the bait? I think it's called mother something bait.
Oh, this is a family show, Jack. Calm down, okay?
We don't want to say that.
Yeah, please.
But it's could be. I mean, we have caught a few roosters on it, and we fish where the biggest roosters in the world are.
Oh, yeah? Where's that?
Out of La Paz.
Okay. Yeah, there's some big ones there. There's some pretty big ones where my wife's from, too. Costa Rica. We've caught some big ones down there out of
the record.
And
it's called Las Arenas.
yeah, that's a great place.
45 minutes to an hour to get there by car.
Yeah.
And then you take your boat out of there.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
True story. A friend of mine who lives in South Africa now, he had a bad luck year the year before. He didn't get any big fish.
Yeah.
So I said, let's go out and we'll get a big fish. We're going to go after some roosters. He says, okay. So I get out there with him, and as soon as I put my line in the water, I get a wham. And I pull it up, captain's guesstimate, 80-pound rooster.
Whoa, that's a big one.
And I said to my friend, I felt guilty. I wanted him to catch the fish, So I said, my rod is your rod. They're both your rods. No more than 10 minutes later, he hooks up one.
Wow.
90 pounds.
Oh, my God. Those are huge.
That was not a bad day of fishing for roosters.
Oh, no kidding, man. Well, these look great. Anything else that we failed to talk about or ask you about these lures that you want to make clear to everybody out there?
Yeah, they really do work.
I got that impression. And I think people are going to want to try those out.
In fact, they worked above our expectations.
Really?
Above our expectations. In fact, the most pleasant thing of all, each day my head was getting bigger because the captains were falling in love with them.
Yeah.
And when the captains started telling the manager and the owners, we got to get some of these lures, that set it off.
Perfect. There's no greater compliment you can pay somebody, right?
You're talking to people that really have the experience.
And they want to catch fish.
Well, they want you to come back.
Yes.
And the way you want to come back is when you catch fish.
That's right.
You don't need to go there if you don't catch fish.
100%. 100%. So this Saturday at the Longfin in Orange, California, you'll be able to drop by at 7 o'clock. You'll be able to meet my dear friend Jack and Michael Wu. You're going to want to run up to them, give them a big hug and a kiss, and scream Friedman Adventures. And then you're going to get that free keychain from them. You'll be able to check these lures out, hold them in your hand, and of course purchase them so you can go out and give it a try. Jack, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
I got one other thing I'll let you know about.
Yeah. Hold on. Mackey's on the spot as always. Uh-oh, bag of tricks. Here we go.
Oh, I should give you that.
All right, perfect. American Spirit Ultimate Swimmer US7 SL. All right, perfect.
There's a little collage of years ago.
Oh, of all the fish that you've caught on this lure, obviously. Folks, look at that. Tremendous. Is that what that is or not? I don't want to misrepresent here.
No, that's I was only 19 there.
Oh, wow. Well, what, 147 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm the oldest man alive. I wrote a book.
Yes.
About Baja.
Nice.
And I wrote this about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But this book was the ones that didn't get the UPS on them.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't sell these.
Yeah.
But most of it is, I think the limit is different, but it's a little bit of everything. But the one thing in there is stories that I remember catching fish. If somebody buys a lure, the book's theirs.
Oh, really? You mean on Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. So they get a keychain, you get a book, you get a hug and a kiss from Jack. If you're a USC fan, don't bring up the Irish.
My wife
to 'em.
won't be with me on that show.
Oh, you're good then. You're all set. Jack, pleasure, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate it much.
Thank you so much. We'll see you Saturday at the Longfin in Orange,
Catch a fish on
California.
that.
I'm ready. Let's do it.